In today's video, I'm going to outline steps for how to teach English in Korea. For those of you who don't know, I am here teaching English in Korea. I've been here for 8 months. If this is something that you're interested in learning about, then keep watching. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Again, I'm sick and I'm sorry that I sound so gross and so stuffed up, but like I'm sick or I have really bad allergies. Okay, step number 1 is you have got to get TEFL certified. So TEFL, I don't know why I keep doing this. TEFL is teaching English as a foreign language. So you have to have this certification to teach any type of English in any type of country. You need to get certified. I went through a company called Oxford Seminars that I'll link below. They were great, I highly recommend them. So the course consists of 100 hours. It is 60 hours of in-course work and 40 hours of online work. I highly recommend going through Oxford Seminars because I have an in-person instructor and it wasn't just 100-hour online, which can get really boring. It was with the nearest university. They hold them like 4 or 5 times per year, so depending on when you want to go take the course, I recommend doing the in-person because you actually get to run a practice class. For me, I came from no teaching experience whatsoever, so this really helped me. I prefer the balance of in-class and online. Like I wouldn't want to do the whole thing in class and I wouldn't want to do the whole thing online. So this is just a nice balance. You know, going in and meeting other people who are about to be in the same position as you. You can even make some friends. Is the course hard? No, it's not difficult. Went to university, then you will be able to do this. A very low pressure thing. There's nothing to worry about when it comes to the course and like the difficulty level. Like you'll be fine. Final quiz you do at the end online, but if you can speak English, if you're a native English speaker, you're fine. So step number 2 is to pick your location. Say this as a step number 2 because I actually went in with the idea, oh, I want to go to Europe and I want to be in Spain. That was like my first choice. After I took the course and once I was in the course, I realized Europe is very low pay, and if you're like me and you have a bunch of student loans, one of the reasons that you are teaching English is to pay off student loans. 3 main countries that you want to look at are China, Japan, and Korea. They are hiring consistently, constantly throughout the year. They are also the most lucrative. They pay the best. They pay for your flights. They pay for your apartment. You get a settlement fee, all this stuff. So when you go to Europe, I don't think that you get that. You don't quote me on that, but a lot of the times you don't, and you do have to pay for rent, and that can just get pretty pricey. A lot of the stuff that I was reading online, people who did end up going to Europe said that they barely broke even every month. So I say location second because go in with like any set expectations of this is where I'm gonna go. Like, have an open mind because that's what happened to me. I went in thinking that I was gonna go be laying on a beach in Spain, and then here I am in Korea a year later. When you're choosing your location, look at the prerequisites that are for each country because each country is different. A lot of the countries nowadays, you have to have your TEFL certification and you have to have an undergrad degree from a credible university. There's only a few countries that I can think of, like Thailand, where you were allowed to go in with just your GED, so just graduating high school. Getting so popular nowadays that a lot of the teachers require a university degree before you even take the TEFL. Just make sure you have all the prerequisites for your desired location before you go. Number three is choosing your recruiting company. When I went through Oxford Seminars, another big benefit to that, they hooked me up with my own personal recruiter after I finished the course. So I just went to my recruiter and I gave her the locations that I was thinking about, and she fired back partner recruiting companies from each country. I was linked with them directly, all through credible sources. I do want to say, be careful of the recruiting company that you do decide to go through. If you do find it through some ad online, just do your research because people have been getting scammed so easily. It's a huge life move for you, and you don't want to like go to the airport in Korea and realize that you went through a fake recruiting company, because that has happened to people. So just like do your research, make sure everything's credible. It's another reason why I loved going through Oxford Seminars is they hooked me up with a recruiter right away, and they only go through partner companies. So I went through a company called Korean Horizons, which is like the #1 recruiter for teaching English in Korea. I highly recommend them. I went through a recruiter named Alistair. I think he's one of the highest ranked recruiters on Yahoo or something. He was awesome. He picked me up at the airport airport, bought me dinner that night. He drove me to my hotel and drove us all to education building in Korea. So he was great. He preps you really well for the interview that you're going to do. Also, the TEFL course, it costs around $1,000, but I will say, if you are thinking about doing it, there are a lot cheaper ones. I just did the Oxford one. Is a little bit more pricey, but you'll see why when I explain each step why I chose to go through them. Because get your own recruiter, everything's credible, and this isn't something that you want to just take really lightly. Help you through your entire visa process, so they help a lot. You just feel really safe and secure with them, which is what you need when you're going through this major life altering course. So step number 4, once you take your TEFL course, you finally choose your location and you get your recruiting company and you're all set up, starting to fall into place. This is when you start having your actual interviews for your schools in Korea. Like I said earlier, the reason I did decide to go through Oxford was because they help you with the interview process as well. I did a mock-up interview. He told me how I should be answering each question. He knew all the questions before I even went into the interview, which is obviously so helpful. Prepped lots of check-ins. Being a recruiter, actually in my previous job, one of the worst things is to be working with a recruiter that doesn't answer you and doesn't get back to you within, honestly, 24 to 48 hours max. Pain in the ass. And nowadays with people and everything online, it's really easy to ghost people and just to like forget about email. They would answer everything within, honestly, 24 hours. Any single question they had answered. No question was a stupid question. It was just really great. So they really prepped me for the interview. To actually do the interview, once you're in the interview, don't forget to ask them questions as well. Your interview is going to vary depending on whether you teach at a private school, which is called a Hagwon, or a public school through the government. I personally teach at a public school through the government, so each have their pros, each have their cons, so it really just depends. Do your research. Just be careful when you go through a private school. If you aren't going through a recruiting company and you're doing it from like an ad online, make sure you read over your contract. Don't leave anything in the air, because once you get to Korea and you sign a contract, sometimes, not all the time, but this is where I've heard a lot of horror stories, they try and overwork you a crazy amount and you're working like 12-hour days, 6 days a week. They're allowed to do that if it was like in your contract somewhere, so just be careful. Read your contract through and through. The reason I did choose public is because I personally know that I don't want to be a teacher as my full-time career, and public school is less work. Sounds bad. You have a set schedule of 8:40 to 4:40 Monday through Friday, weekends off. All depends on you and your personal preference. Step number 6 is know why you're going. This kind of goes back to being in the interview. The question that you're going to get asked repeatedly, even once you step foot in Korea, is Korea. Why did you choose Korea? What brought you here? All this stuff. So know why you're going. Do not say that you are going just to travel. For the love of God, you will not get your job. They do not want people to come in who are just going to half-ass it and basically just use this as an opportunity to go travel the world. Yes, that is one of the many perks of living and making an income in Asia. Being in Korea, you're right in the hub. You're around Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, all these fun Asian countries, but you have to remember why you're there in the first place, because once you go in, and this kind of leads into step number 7, be respectful. Because you have to remember you are a guest in their country. You are going in there and you kind of already have type of a reputation. People do think that the native teachers are just there to party and to travel, and they don't actually want to be there. They don't care about the children. That is like a stereotype because they've had horror stories, because that's honestly why a lot of people come. Don't want them to think you're like that. So be respectful, show up on time, don't argue, choose your battles. I'm just gonna say that. They put a lot of emphasis on hierarchy here in Korea, and you don't want to step on anyone's toes once you're here. Just be really respectful. Respecting their elders is huge in their culture. You never want to go in and disrupt that. Just remember that you're some person coming in making almost the same salary as a teacher who's been teaching for like a decade. And the schooling to become a teacher in Korea is so intense, it's insane. So just remember that you're coming in there with no education, and making the same amount of money as them, and they also think you're just there to like party and travel. So just know that going in, be conscious of that. Prove them wrong, because I know not everyone is there to go party and travel and all that stuff, but be respectful. That's all I'm gonna say. You're a guest in the country, show an interest in their culture, you will be fine. They love when you show an interest in their culture, their food, you're trying to learn their language. They are very, very proud of their culture. Back in 1954, they were literally in rubble, like shambles. Flash forward to 2020, they've built Korea into an amazing, technologically advanced country they are very, very proud of, and they have every right to be proud of. So just keep that in mind when you're there. Show effort, show that you're trying, and they will absolutely love it. Obviously the language barrier is going to be tough. Putting in an effort shows that you're trying, and they don't take that lightly. And the last step, I think I'm on step 7 or 8, I honestly can't remember, but the last step is to just take it day by day. Once you're there, you are going to feel so many different emotions. It can be extremely overwhelming, it can be really scary, but just taking it day by day, situation by situation, you will be absolutely fine, and have an open mind. Probably my biggest piece of advice. Go in, don't set any expectations, go in and just fun, but also everything as a learning curve, and you will have the absolute time of your life. I've been here for 8 months and I'm absolutely obsessed with the country. I've learned so much. This has already been like the best experience of my life, and I guarantee you guys will have the exact same experience as I do, and you're gonna love it. So just go in with an open mind, take everything as a learning curve, and you will be absolutely fine. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, even hit subscribe. That would mean the world to me. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end, and have a beautiful, beautiful day.